symbolique en
This
anglais.
is, the whole world is meant by this symbolism. And here is the center of the whole world, of the whole universe. Yeah? This is nombril of the world.
Yeah.
This is now here the center of the world. They have put here, they have transferred this from the Mount Zion, from the temple place, as I have told you before, as the Eben Shetir, the center of the world. They have placed the center of the world here, like our center, here,
But only for Christian?
Yeah, of course. It's lying between Golgotha and the tomb of Jesus. Okay. So, combining the most important happenings in the history of salvation. It is done by human beings, but it has a symbolic, very deep symbolic and important symbolic significance. This all they found.
Wow.
They took out all the rubble. What you see here is, what this is where they took all the rocks for building material. Yeah? Okay. You see? Now there is water inside, I don't know. This was here where cisterns and so on and so on. And people believe that this was also a very early Christian pious place. Yeah? Very early. Now we have to see why the Christians were here. And that they were here, that is another sign. We see here the St. Bartholom's chapel. St. Bartholom is a Armenian saint.
This one was discovered?
This one was discovered. And they discovered this. In between all these rocks, they discovered this. This is a so-called ship drawing. Yeah? With Latin words, Domine ivimus. That means, that can mean, Lord, we have arrived, we have come. Yeah? And you see the ship, this ship is identified as a Roman boat, which had a struggle against the storm in the Mediterranean Sea. And now, the story or the history of this part of the rock, of this stone is, this was all covered, all these places, the original places were covered as the whole city, old city of Jerusalem, by new constructions of Emperor Hadrian after the Second Jewish War, which took place from 132 to 135. So at the end of the war, this work was done. They started with the rebuilding of Jerusalem already before, but it was still in the construction time that he filled this all up with rubble, with anything to build here the temple of Roman gods.
I see.
You see, to cover up all what was in the memory of Christian belief and on the Temple Mount of Jewish belief. So that means that this rock was already below all this rubble, because when Constantine came, he was the first one who made excavations, we can say. So he freed all this pagan stuff, freed the place from the pagan stuff. The temple was destroyed and everything out what was from the time of Hadrian. So, and then they built another part of the church and so on. But this was found only recently.
Okay.
As a witness that Christians from the Roman Empire, from Europe, either Rome or Spain or something, came here to visit this place, and to make a votive gift of remembrance of the protection of God by this storm, and they thanked the Lord that they could have come here. Why on this place? What was here? That's the thing. What was here? This was a Christian center. before.
And is this the only manifestation of Christian presence that you found here?
That's a manifestation of
But did you find some other things?
Well, of course, this is only additional. This is only additional, which shows persecution from the Roman side, so no Christian houses were built here. So it was a simple, pious place. You see, there were grottos by these how you call in English, where you cut the stones off. What is it? Quarry. And especially they had a celebration where we are going now. So, stuff here. You see, here you see that originally there was another structure. You see, this wall and so on wasn't there. There was another structure of cisterns, systems, and so on. And this you see here again. This round here, yeah, and then the wall here in the midst. This is new. This was before, yeah. Probably this was a system, yeah, very old system of cisterns and so on, yeah. Well, we see then on the other side of the quarry.
Okay.
I knew.
You just thought, maybe that's
Here must be something. Okay. So they started with the excavations. Yeah. So I think in former times the Armenian people and others, as all the Orthodox people, were not so fond of excavations and archaeology and so, only in the religious ceremonies, they didn't think scientifically so much. So, but in the time being this grew in them, so, and then they started with that and found this which is very important for archaeological history. Well, this is also a Constantinian water channel system. And all this small stuff they found here also, these remains of pottery and so on. This is here, what is shown here is the history of the Armenian church. Yeah? All these dead churches they had. Also, they destroyed churches, which, during the First World War, the Ottoman Empire, the Turkish, they destroyed not only their churches and took the land. They killed by 1.5 million of Armenians and other Christians. Not only Armenian Christians, also Syrian Christians, Aramaic speaking. So they have here their saints, their king, who was the first one who brought the Christian national church, Christian church, was the Armenian in 301. Because the king was baptized, and of course all his people too. That's normal at that time.
And why did they take the Christian religion? Or?
Because he came to believe in Jesus Christ.
But did he come here or?
Missionary. I don't know whether he was here. No,
No.
Missionaries, by bishops and so, who came there for the mission, for Christian, to preach the gospel. He would be converted to Christianity.
So this is the oldest
church. National church.
Yeah.
It's good, huh? Well, and this is the place where originally, according to the tradition, the people of Helena, of St. Helena, found the crosses, the cross of Jesus and those of the two robbers. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And
also.
How could she know that this was a cross?
Well, I don't know, because what we can only imagine, because we have not so many historian sources about this. What we can only imagine is that the Christians, who were witnesses to the suffering and death of Christ, that they took these relics, immediately, as when they could, to a special place to keep it, to hide it. And because this is for Christians such important thing, so worthy. Yeah, one of the greatest values they can have. Yeah, so we can imagine that they have kept it in a place, where the Christians always came or to secure the place. So that went from mouth to mouth, from generation to generation, that here is the place. So, and only by this means, we can imagine that those people who knew this from the tradition of their fathers, that here must be the place where the crosses were laid. So the people of the emperor came to know by them that this must be here, and they searched for it when they made the whole excavations from the Hadrian time. And then they found here the things which now the original cross is divided in parts, to many places in the world.
But so we know.
For instance, in Rome we have Santa Croce di Jérusalem, where there is a big piece of the cross.
Oh, so there is a piece.
Yeah, a big piece.
Are we sure historically or no?
You know.
Yeah.
Traditionally, we are sure, and there are many arguments, that show us that this may be the historical cross, Well, by natural findings, There are supernatural arguments by saints who also say this is a real cross, but this is, we can believe that, but of course it is not scientific. People want to know scientifically nowadays always. They are not satisfied with beliefs. We do on Holy Friday, on Good Friday, we venerate the cross. Not because of the cross, but because it belongs to Jesus. Because he died on the cross for our redemption. It is not the God. The cross is not the God. The cross is a sign.
So they should venerate the symbol, but dependless if it is a real cross or not. It's not very important.
We do it symbolically always on Good Friday. This is called the Chapel of Adam.
Adam. But it doesn't mean.
He is telling.
Traditionally believe.
The Greek Orthodox people, they do not let enter anybody. Only special people with special permit, they can enter. But I saw from above, these two caves. Well, there are pictures of it, and also these caves of Adam. They have even an older tradition than the Chapel of Adam. The Chapel of Adam is made later, but the caves of Adam have a legendary history, long before, because what he said, that it's a legend that Adam was buried on this place, and Eve and others buried on this place, and his skull was there, and when Jesus died, the blood from the cross ran down to the head of Adam and the others and redeemed them from the Sheol. So this was a place of the Sheol, something like that. Well, this is a very strong tradition which has its roots in Judaism, because the Jewish people, they created this story, whether they believed that this is real or they believed or would express this as a symbol. This is another thing. Of course, it is. I can believe this only symbolically. When they say, where now there is the dome of the rock. The rock is the place where Abraham offered his son Isaac. It's a place where the temple was built. So the rabbinic tradition afterwards tells us, this is the place where is the so-called Eben Shetiyah, the foundation stone. The foundation stone for all the world, for all the universe. This was the first, was God created, the foundation stone, and from there he created all the world. So it's the center of the earth. That is center. Now, with Christianity, the center of the earth was shifted from the Temple Mountain to here where Jesus died. Because he is redemption. So Adam, who was first seen there, he was transferred here spiritually. So, and there are. This was written in the first centuries. Books about this spelunka, as it is, was written in the first centuries before Hadrian came and covered this all up. So, another proof. Literary proof that here at this place, early Christians, Jewish Christians, venerated this place as the place where Jesus was crucified. So this is a very, very strong argument that this is the real place where Jesus was crucified. Run in another place where this part was kept outside. There was already during the time of Jesus the work of the construction of the New Jerusalem, of the temple, and the wall was going on. And Herodes Agrippa, he finalized this, and at the end, this whole part entered into the new city of Jerusalem. It was part then of the city. It was outside the city was before, not very long in long distance. Because it was a way entering to Jerusalem from there, so the people who entered Jerusalem could come through a gate which was here close by, where was the garden. And so by the Crusaders, when the Crusaders came in the 11th century, they made the new church, covering Golgotha and covering here the tomb of Jesus and everything.
It's surprising to see how close all this
was a garden. Where was the tomb which belonged to one Pharisee, one member of the Sanhedrin, Joseph of Arimathea. So, and in this tomb he was placed. The most holy place of Christianity. Not according to the tradition only, but in reality, Jesus died here. He was crucified here. And we have not only traditional, historical evidence, we have even archaeological evidence. At least since 1986. Because then the Greek archaeologists and the architect who is still living here and working for the Greek Orthodox Patriarchate, they discovered something here. Before 86, this all was covered by stone, by marble. All was covered. They took the marble and the rubble out to free the rock of Golgotha. So people can now see the rock of Golgotha. As you see there is a slice. You see this? The rock is broken.
Yes.
According to what the Bible says, the New Testament, when Jesus died, there was an earthquake, and the rock, was split. This is really. You see, it is real. And you see it till down. Well, in the cave, where in the chapel of Adam. This is one thing only. Now, the people here kneel down here, they put their hand into this hole, to touch the ground there, thinking that's the rock. It's not the rock, it's marble. The Greek people put marble
To protect.
because, you know,
To protect.
protect, because people sketched out to get some relics with them at home. So it was covered like this. But in 86, when they took all the way this and put the glass, the architect, he found in the rock something which was not like the other rock. The color was different, it was more white. And he found on the top some inscriptions which were very difficult to read. So they went to people who knew about that, specialists of early Jewish, Christian, or even Jewish inscription symbolism. And they found out that these signs mean here Jesus is crucified. So they kept this.
In what language?
Not language. In signs relating to the Hebrew language or Aramaic language. So only specialists could find the real meaning of it. But there is a law for this meaning. It's not simply imagination. So he took this out and he scratched more and more out of this gesso, Frank. How do you call this? This white thing you make with water and plaster. It's a kind of plaster.
Yeah.
We use also nowadays.
To build houses or?
Yeah, not to build houses, but to
finish
the walls,
finish the plâtre.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this was exactly the combination of Roman times. They found out. The analysis found this out. We took this out, and at the end, down in 40 centimeters depth, he found an open stone ring down in the plaster, fixed in the plaster. So what they discovered, this was the place where the cross was fixed with the stone ring. And it is still there, we can see. If you follow me now, here down, I should come on and look there. Look there behind.
Okay. Oh yeah.
You see it?
Exactly the question I was about to ask. On rocks, how can we put a cross?
This is not the rock.
And there are three of them for the Christ and the two numbers.
We don't know. Let him come. Officially published. Therefore, it is not known to the public. Only few people know.
Oh, yeah.
One of my friends, he wrote a little leaflet about this church. Very well done, but it has a very, very limited diffusion. Edition. Very limited edition, because it is made on private in Vienna. It's not a bookshop really.
And when did they discover?
1986. So
very recent.
Very
But
recent.
why don't they want to?
Yeah, they want, but it is done by the Greeks. Excuse me, it's done by the Greeks. So this architect has made the work of the whole church in Greek language, and this part is being translated into English. And he always told me it's ready now, it has to be printed now.
Okay.
But I'm still waiting for it. They are very... everybody's waiting for this, very important. Because this is it is archaeological proof that this is the place.
Yeah.
Because the early Christians, they have kept this place, they have covered it, so it could not be, which belongs to these two altars belongs to the Latin community, to us, to the Catholics. This part is the Orthodox, Greek Orthodox. So we have here what Simeon in the temple was prototyping. This is what There you can see the
right here
rupture.
in this wall here.
Yeah, from above, the
The
same thing.
Franciscan priests, they know that. They brought. They think he's a noble
To
man.
see how
There's a
this
huge
moves.
statue
Yeah.
on before the Palace of Justice.
Stable.
Yeah, how this
From
moves.
European Union brought.
It is Shabbat, which means if they would not have come as quick as possible to look for the nearest tomb.
The traditional place where Jesus was laid down to be ointed with the ointment quickly. Yeah? So anywhere here it had to be. But this is made by us. We selected this place, and of course the stone is not so old from that time. But it is a remembrance. So
They like the body here. Not the rock, only location. Jews before they bury dead.
yeah. Of course, this tomb, as it is now, this is made in the 19th century, after the last fire at the beginning of the 19th century. So they have rebuilt this. From there it is. You see the structure outside. Yeah. This strong iron structure. Yeah. This is done by the British people after the earthquake 1927. So to keep this together. If you look closer to these walls, they are coming out, and so it has to be restored urgently. It's a very important thing. Well, but don't think that the tomb of Jesus was like it is now.
No, sure.
What we have seen, this was a quarry, and the Jewish people, they have buried the people in caves they make into the quarry. So the quarry was always the privileged place for burials. So it was easy because this was abandoned quarry. This quarry was here from the 8th century, from 800 before Christ to 200 before Christ. This was a quarry. It was used as a quarry. So you must imagine that this was all rock here around. And when Constantine gave orders to build the part of the church and so, his architects, they have cut off the rock around the tomb of Jesus, the place of the burial of Jesus, to make processions around it, So all the rock disappeared, and it remained practically only some walls of this rock and the where Jesus was laid down. At the beginning of the 11th century, Al-Hakim, one of the sultans from Egypt, he gave orders to destroy the church, to destroy the tomb of Jesus, and even the place where he was laid. And they tried to do this with hammers and so on. They couldn't destroy the whole. Only on the lower and upper part you see that they have destroyed something. You don't see because it is covered now. Well, that this here was burial place, we can show and prove on another place. So they are so-called kochim. This is a kind of burial, Jewish burial, one of the two major kinds. So you put the people inside. Okay. You saw the kochim. The other is the arcosolio burial ceremony, where you have the plate and the ark. Like in Rome, in the catacombs you find them too. This way of burial. So I don't know whether for the richer or so, or more important people, it was selected.
Near the place where he was buried, but it's not the very right place where he was.
No, this is a very right place. Yeah, of course.
But the caves disappeared.
No, it is not a cave.
His
no,
cave.
the cave was here, and the architects they took the rock out.
Okay.
They left only this part, which is here.
Okay.
That's it. It's a restore this. But here, there is the status quo. The church belongs to the three major churches.
So everybody has to be agree. So
they have to agree, and the most difficult it is to deal with the Greek Orthodox. That's always the most difficult. If it were the Latins, it would have been done already.